this component here,
Okay.
I pulled your carburetors off on both sides, and they're just held in by these little metal bands.
Yeah.
It's really, really simple. So if you disconnect, and let's pull these guys off. These, if these accidentally come off, it's just a little rubber boot. It's just to keep moisture out. So that's loose. You have electronics over here that we need to loosen. Might have to get my
This box, the air.
So this electronics here, I guess you could snap this off, but anyways, I didn't want to undo the electrical connections, and this was preventing it from coming off. So, and it's just screwed into the side of the air box here. So then we just move this out of the way. And so the way the whole system works is off of vacuum pressure. There's a vacuum hose right here, this black one.
Yeah.
That comes out of the air box, and that vacuum hose draws air through the carbs, which pulls the fuel in.
Okay.
So if you ever have a fuel problem, you got to check these vacuum hoses.
See if they're like leaking or cracked.
Yeah,
or
they get
like
cracked, and they'll leak air, and it'll stutter, and
it will suck the fuel through and keep it going. Okay.
And they're really cheap to replace. So, anyways, but should be able to. And this is not held in by anything except that vacuum hose. And it just goes on the side right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this whole thing comes out. That's your air box.
Yep.
That's your squirrel nest.
That has been my squirrel nest. We had that happen a couple of years
really?
ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They got in there big time.
And then we sucked it into the intake, and then I really had to go get it fixed. So you got to look for squirrels.
Yeah. So literally air comes in here.
Yeah.
Fuel's sucked in through these hoses on the side, just mixes. This is your throttle cable for each one. There's one main cable, and as you pull, there's just a big cylinder in here that it draws up. And I'll show you that. But literally these carbs are held on just by one metal band and a rubber boot.
That's that right there. Huh?
Yep. Really simple. So what I did is once it's loose, these will come right out.
Okay.
That's your carb.
Yep.
So what I did is I grabbed my, there's two types of detergents that are really good. This one's Gum Out Tune Up. You can get it at Walmart for $7. This is for cleaning your tire fuel system for ethanol.
Okay.
That gets rid of the gum.
That's the varnish crap.
Yeah. This is Seafoam. It's kind of the same thing, but what this does is it actually will foam and eat ethanol and oil and other things that have crapped in there, and that's why it was all smoky when I first started it, because this was in
you're burning that off.
Right.
Okay.
So what I do is I take this and I just spray the crap out of the inside of that, inside of the carbs, put some down the vacuum tube.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because you get carbon buildup in here.
Okay.
You'll get rid of that. Take out your spark plugs too. You can spray some in there.
Little Seafoam. What can it do?
It must be pretty good stuff.
It is good stuff.
I always hear him
You
talk
can buy
about
it as an
that.
additive to your fuel too.
Yeah.
So, and spark plugs don't have to be super tight. You crank them until that you thread them by hand until they stop, and then you do like a
Just one turn.
half turn.
Half turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just snug. Make it snug.
Okay, and then
So then I Seafoam
down in there.
straight. That's probably out of gas, but straight down in there, and then I Seafoamed off all this because these were sooty and black and greasy.
Okay, so you seafoam that.
Yeah, and you Seafoam it, just let it eat stuff up and then wipe it off.
Okay.
So when I put it in here and when I put it in the vacuum tubes, I did on both sides.
Yep.
I cleaned out the carbs. And then you also clean into the intake. Just spray a ton in there, just real liberal.
Okay.
Spray a ton in there.
That's in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So the problem is now you have liquid that's foaming.
Yep.
So this right here's your crankshaft.
Yep.
You turn this, and you can, if you look down in there,
it'll start coming up and down.
You'll see the piston coming up and down. And this moves the valves, sucks in air, just gets the fluid buildup out.
Okay.
Because if you tried to crank it and start it with the fluid built up inside,
it's like flooded, basically.
It's flooded, and it can also damage the piston inside if there's too much.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, this sucks it in through the vacuum tubes and everything.
Okay.
So after I did all of that, the other thing I checked, and of course I was just kind of going through everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this every time, but that's the main thing, is when it won't run, cleaning out the carbs, the intake, spark plugs.
Yep.
Putting it down in the hole,
and then just moving that through it.
Yeah, just getting everything really super clean in here.
Okay.
And you can even wipe it out. Like, I got it pretty good, but
yeah, you did.
What I did is I took the hose off of here. These are just little C clamps.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to make sure. Don't let me flip fuel all over you. I just wanted to make sure that fuel was flowing.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and yeah, there's fuel coming
So
out.
it wasn't clogged by anything there
No,
either.
no, the tube's good. You can even blow some air in there. It'll bubble back in, but you don't have to do that.
Oh,
That's just a test I do to see if
Test.
this is clogged.
It's only a test.
It's just a test.
Okay.
Not super important. So, oops. And this is a real simple clamp. You just slide it back down. And then button everything back up.
Yep.
So let me show you.
I was almost wondering if I should own a second set of carbs.
No, these just need to be clean. But this right here, that's the cylinder.
That's the cylinder.
Yep.
That's your throttle, huh?
Yep, and that's all driven by the wire.
Okay.
And that is just a good way to check, okay, my wires are good.
Okay. Yeah.
You're good there. So then literally it just slides with some finesse
Uh-huh. A little bit
back
of
in.
force.
Yeah. And you can loosen that ring up.
Yep. And you just tighten it all back together.
Yep, tighten it back down, put your spark plug back in.
Awesome, dude.
And you can
This is great.
crank away on this thing.
I just learned a ton right just now. And it's not overly complicated. You just got to go do it.
Yeah,
Now-
it's just getting dirty.
Now knowing what to do, now it's easy. It makes it a lot easier to go do it, repeat it.
Like I said, these thread by hand all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
And then just get it till it's snug. And
Yeah.
then about
Right,
half a turn.
quarter turn.
Yeah, because they're aluminum threads and you just don't want to mash them
Yep.
up. So,
Okay.
now that that's back on. And these need to be straight up and down. If you have them sideways,
Then you got a problem.
yeah, quite a bit, the fuel won't flow correctly.
Okay.
This is your vacuum valve.
Yep.
The more
So-
throttle you give, the more air gets sucked in, the more this valve opens, the more fuel that gets added.
I see.
And your air filter is actually that spongy thing up there. You never need to change it. It's inside your...
Oh, inside. It's up in that top section there.
Yeah, it's this... Oh, oops.
Oh, I
Sorry.
see it. I see
Yeah.
it. It's this.
It's just a little spongy
That's your air filter.
Yep.
Okay.
thing. And this is the tricky part,
Yeah.
is... Oops.
You gotta get in there.
These rubber boots.
Making sure they seal all the way around the
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to add those
bands.
bands for. Problem is, you just take a screwdriver and not with a ton of force, but
Just want to try and pry it over the edge.
yeah, you just want to get it over the edge.
Get over that. Okay.
And it's just working your way around. You don't want to tear the boot, obviously.
Yeah, right, you don't want to tear the rubber.
Yeah. But it doesn't take much.
Okay.
So I'll put these clamps around it. Because
Awesome.
what'll happen is this thing moves around.
Right.
And there's no seal here.
And so then air gets into there, and then that takes some of the power away? What does that do?
it's just dirty air. It's all coming right off your engine instead of from the environment. And,
okay.
I mean, in the winter, air is not usually really saturated with dirt and pollutants. But still, that to me is, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
good.
not the best way to
Keeps
do
it all secure.
Oh, and then doesn't matter which order you put these on. It's two cylinders, so it just fires.
One of the questions I was wondering, these are twisted, but how do you know which does it matter which one that goes on?
Not with a 2-cylinder.
Okay.
4-cylinder, yes. Anything more, just because it's just 1, 2,
But
1,
two,
2, 1, 2,
but
1,
two, you could have this on that, and that could be on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
But that's it, and then I always crank this around a few times with the spark plugs in, just to make sure things are okay.
Yeah.
And you can hear a little bit of vacuum noise. This turning that actually will pull fuel in, so that's a good way to test. But
how is it that some people, their snowmobiles are so easy to start, like when you pull the ripcord? This one is like you really have to crank on it. I don't know.
I only had to pull twice, and I hardly pulled.
Okay, so then if we got all this right that you're just showing me right now, we shouldn't have any trouble at all.
No, you should be able to just
Okay.
put full choke on and crank a couple times, and you're done.
All right.
So, next biggest thing is just making sure your electronics.
Make sure you're all hooked back together.
Yeah, you're all hooked back together.
Okay.
And we only unhooked 2 items.
So you just gotta screw that thing back on, right? The other side of the box. And put your vacuum line back in.
Yep, vacuum line on.
Does the vacuum line have a clamp on it, or is it
Nope.
not?
Nope, there's not a ton of vacuum pressure, so it just slides
It just
on.
slides. Okay.
Yep. Then we button this down.
Okay.
Put this bolt back in.
Oh yeah, that's right. You took that out.
Throw this down.
What is this wiring here? Is that for like a battery or?
I'm not sure. It's an accessory or it's
Extra?
a jumper, because you got a lot of little connectors here that are undone.
Yeah.
It could be for an electric start.
That's what I'm wondering. Is that for an
No.
electric start?
Because you've got the option, but nothing's connected.
Yeah.
So
Where do they put a battery if they're going to do an electric start? The
under
whole.
the seat.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
Okay.